Hi guys! I hope you have your supplies ready because I'm so excited to share the first video on typography quilling with you. It's a bit on the long side, so let's just dive right in. In this video, we're going to be turning this into this. Let's go over some of the stuff that we're going to be needing. First of all, a bunch of regular printer paper for our sketches. White colored pre-cut paper strips. Pre-cut paper strips with the color of your choosing. I chose mine blue because it's winter time and I like blue. A ruler and a lid or a flat surface to put the glue on. A sculptor's needle. A pair of tweezers. And a pair of scissors. Oh, and a pencil for sketching. We're going to start with taping our template to the light box, and here's a little trick when you're using the tape. You want to get a little bit of the stickiness off of it by placing it on the back of your hand or anywhere else other than the paper so that it becomes still sticky but not as harmful as it would have been. One of the reasons I love using a light box is you can adjust the density of the light. You can make it as bright or as dim as you like, depending on your design. Okay, so we're ready to start, and for us to start we need to have a starting point. And for that I have to decide if I want to come from top down or from down up. In all of my designs I always start with a tight coil as a starting point, and I think I want to put it in right here. I always surround this with a couple of the teardrop shapes. It resembles kind of like a leaf. These usually act as if they are the seeds, so things need to start springing from this. And I want to put a little something here and another big one coming out this way, going all the way up. Okay, I don't like the angling of this, so that's why we're using a pencil. I'm just going to redo and add stuff. This is your design, so you are free to add stuff, take stuff off. You are free to do whatever your heart pleases, so there are never right or wrong answers. Just keep drawing. I keep on drawing, thinking about the flow of the piece, where things appear to be. I want this a little bit bigger. Yeah, I want to go all the way, so I'm making it thicker. I want to start this leg the same way I started the opposite one. I want this to be a bottom heavy design, which means I want to leave as much as white space up top as possible. And for that, I'm going to use tight coils very sporadically, leaving a lot of space up here. It's going to let the bottom design breathe. We're almost done with the first draft. I always do a few designs so that I can see the differences in between and I can take what I like from each of them. So this is going to be the first one. I'm going to solidify the walls that I'm going to be using because I'm going to put another paper on top. I'm diving right in with the felt marker on this one because I have a pretty clear idea of what the design is gonna somewhat look like. So I can just go in and start drawing. I really like how I start, so I'm gonna keep this side pretty much the same, and I know I want to keep this side the same as well. So I'm just gonna put these in. The design is pretty much the same, it's just going to be minor details that I may not have liked when I was first drawing it, and when I see it as a whole, I want to change it. So this is the time where you can make those tiny little changes. I'm just going to go ahead and start drawing what feels right to me. This is the fun part, so I'd say just go for it, go crazy. There are no right or wrong answers. So just have fun. Alright, I'm done, and they pretty much look alike. Very similar, a few minor changes, but I'm going to go for a third run. And I'm going to do it very quickly. Just drawing the borders. I call these the walls. I'm going to start again the same way I started with the other ones. I'm keeping what I like and what feels natural, and I'm making minor changes again on this design. You can start adding little details into the places that you think would need some fillers. It looks really, really nice when it's done. And there we have it. We have the 3 designs, and I like them. I'm going to cut them out, and then I'm going to use them as reference. And the next step is cutting our base paper. I have here 11 by 17, and I'm going to use the grid of the cutting mat to cut it in a smaller piece. The paper weight is 100-pound cardstock of this one. It's really great because it's sturdy and perfect for base. I also like using this as the walls of the A. So I'm going to start cutting it in 1/2-inch strips. And there we go, we have our strips and we have our base paper. I'm going to secure my base paper with tape, just like we did before, and I'm going to start with our main tools. So this is the yogurt lid that I use. You can use anything that is flat. And I use Elmer's glue. And as I was pouring it, it was, I think, clogged up, so I have to do this now. My trusty scissors, my sculptor's needle, my tweezers, my paper, and my brush. Brush I like because I use my hands a lot when I'm wiping stuff off, and sometimes that might be damaging to the artwork, so it's best to use the brush. First, we're going to start by measuring this one side because that's where I'm going to start. And before cutting it, I actually want to fold it in half because I want to have the exact same size for both sides. I'm going to need that piece for later. And there we go. We have two sides ready. Now let's glue it on. Remember, just a little dab. You don't need too much glue. We don't want the base paper to start warping. And all you do is just line it on one end and then just drop it. You're just going to hold it with your fingers until it dries, and it takes only a few seconds. And what I'm doing right now is I'm dragging the sculptor's needle to get the excess glue before it dries, so it leaves a clean space once it's done. I'm going to use a blank sheet of paper to catch any of the excess glue after I dip it into the ink before I put it on my base paper as the final move. Okay, where's that little piece? Okay. Do I want to put it up here? Since it's on the long side, I'm going to use it down below right here. I'm trying to see how much of an excess I need to cut, and I'm putting my tweezers as an indicator, and then I cut that part. And we're going to repeat the same process until all the walls are done. And here is something I do to solidify the structure of the paper. I'm going to be gluing the two intersecting corners together. I just tap just a tiny bit and then just join the corners until it dries, which should take a few seconds. I'm going to be doing this every time there are two intersecting corners. And with this, the basic structure is done. Now it's time to implement the design. And here are the sketches we did a little earlier. I want to keep them out like this so that I can keep taking a look at it as a reference point. And I want to select the darkest color as the starting point because it's going to be at the base, and since this is a base heavy design, I want the base to be darker than the top. As it goes up, it's going to get lighter and lighter. And my coil is almost done. And here we go. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I loosened it up a little bit. I don't like how it turned out, so I'm going to redo the whole rolling. There we go. Now I'm going to be pushing it and making it into a teardrop shape. There we go. Now you open the flap and dab a little bit of glue. Not too much. Never too much glue. Just a little bit is enough. There we go. We have our first teardrop. Now we're going to repeat the process with a much lighter color to create contrast. Something like this, a lot brighter. It's going to look really nice against that dark, dark teardrop. I think something this size would be great for the coil that I'm going to be using as the cornerstone. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to relax the paper a lot. And that's done. And now I'm going to take the back of my needle and hammer it a little bit in so that the top part is completely smooth. And I'm going to start selecting different shades that go well together. And looking at the reference point in front of me, I'm going to see what fits and what doesn't and start quilling that way. Not everything that we drew is going to come to fruition, but that's okay. It's an organic thing. It does change as you do it, so don't worry about it. Just keep on quilling and see what looks right. In this video, I wanted to show you what you can expect from the course that I'm working on for you guys. In it, I will go through different styles of design, both on typography and objects. It will cover everything from beginner level all the way to the advanced level. So keep an eye out at JJBLN.com, which is my blog, or check my Instagram for when it's ready. Alright, I will shut up now and let you guys keep watching. I didn't want to put an annoying music in the background, so now is the time to turn your music on. As I put the finishing touches, if you're still watching, that's amazing and thank you. I have put the link to my blog where I go over all the tools and details with links to where you can purchase them. So keep an eye out on my blog for upcoming news, and for those of you who don't know, my blog is JJBLN.com. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button so I can keep on bringing you more free videos like this. See you guys in the next video. Keep on creating.